So in the previous session, I have shown you how to log into the AWS account using the AWS console platform. It is also known as AWS Management Console. It is a browser-based or UI-based platform in order to log in or in order to access the AWS resources. Fine. Now, what are the other methods in order to access the resources from this AWS account? As I told you, it is one of the methods from three options. The other two options we can use. One is the AWS CLI method and one is the AWS SDK method. If you see this AWS CLI method, the CLI stands for command line interface. It is a command line tool or command line terminal. It means if there is a developer and you want to access this AWS account while typing the commands in the terminal. In this case, he can install this AWS CLI tool. So using this AWS CLI tool, he can log in into this AWS account. After logging into the AWS account, he can type the commands in order to access the resources in this AWS account. So it is one of the option. And the other option, we have the AWS SDK. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. So this SDK, it is for the softwares. Let's say here I'm writing a program. I'm writing a software. I'm developing a software where the software is collecting the user details. Let's say this is a user. You're trying to upload some documents in the software. And this software is trying to store these documents in this AWS cloud storage platform. It means this software is trying to talk to these AWS cloud resources in our account. So here, this programming language trying to interact with the AWS account to access the resources. So to make this programming language, in order to interact these AWS resources, we are importing a libraries. Libraries means predefined coding to do a particular function. So if I'm writing this program in the Python programming language, if I'm developing the software with the Python programming language, to support this, I'm using a Boto3 library. So Boto3 library developed by the AWS. So I can import this library and I can tell to this Python programming language to interact with my respective cloud resources. It means even these applications, even we can make these applications to interact with our cloud resources with this respective option. So I hope it is clear. So from now, we're going to access our AWS account or AWS resources by using a AWS console dashboard, which is a friendly and browser based. And we're going to log in as a root user by providing the email ID and password and extra layer of authentication. But in the real time, in the day-to-day usage as a cloud engineer, as a DevOps engineer, we should not log in into the account as a root user. Even though it is protected with the MFA, which is a multi-factor authentication, but it is not a best practice, right? So we will see how to overcome this by logging into the same AWS account using a IAM user credentials with limited access, where we are following principle of least privileges. So we'll try to understand this concept in the upcoming days. I hope it is clear to everyone. So here, once you successfully log in into your AWS account using the AWS console dashboard, now let me explore you how to use this dashboard. In the top right, you can see this is the name which we provided while creating the account, and this is your account ID, right? Now, if you observe here, just open this, just click on your name, right? And you can see here what is your respective plan status. Okay, it is a free plan status. Okay, and here you can see it is account ID and confirm whether the credits are added into your account or not. For the initially, they will provide the $100 US. Time to time, they'll add the credits to reach the 200 credits dollars. Fine. Now, this is account name which I provided. And if you see here, there is something called security credentials. If you open the security credentials, Here you can see this account details. So my security credentials, I log in as a root user. Who is a root user? Root user is the owner of this account, has access to all AWS resources in this account. Okay, that is one thing. And here you can see this account details. This is account name and email address, and this is account ID. And if you want to change the email address or account name or any password, you can go to actions, and here you can update your email address and the password. And if you want to update your account name, here you can choose this option to update your account name, so which will be displayed here. Fine, that is one option. And what are the MFA which is allocated to your account? If you scroll down, you can see here there is a multi-factor authentication device is assigned to your account. So use this MFA to increase the security of your AWS environment. Fine. So there is already one MFA device which is associated to your AWS account. That is one thing you need to understand. And if in the top left, if you click on this AWS, it will take you to this home page, which is console home page. And here, if you see this menu options, these are all the services. Under all services, you can see these are all the services which are categorized under different sections. Under compute section, there are all the services providing you the compute capacity, CPU and the RAM capacities, compute or processing unit, right? Like storage, these are all the cloud storage facilities that are available where you can access, and also database services, likewise networking services, machine learning, right? You have the IoT, robotics, right? There are many options that is provided by this AWS under different categories. Now you can come back to the AWS console home. In the top, you can see this bar. If you know any service, you simply type that service. It will display the service, and you can open this service directly from here. It is also one of the options that is available. Right? If you remember the service name, you can provide the service name, which will display here, and you can access the service from here. Fine. That is how you can use this respect to bar. And here, before we going to start any resources in this AWS console, first confirm which region you want to access. From which region you want to access the resources. Okay, I want to access the resources which is near to me, or as per the business instructions. Okay, as per the company instructions, right? Let's say I'm choosing the region called Asia Pacific Mumbai. As I'm from India, I select this region which is close to me for the faster response. It is not mandatory to select the Mumbai. If you're close to Mumbai, you can also select any other regions that are available. But as a free tier account, you have the access only to these respective regions and the resources from these respective regions. So in our case, I am trying to use the Mumbai region. Right now, it went to this Mumbai region. Now, what are the resources that I'm going to select? Like it might be compute, it might be storage, etc. I'm going to access these resources from this Mumbai region. From the Mumbai region, we have the 3 availability zones. From one of the availability zone, I'm going to get this respective services from this AWS account. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now, one more important thing here. For the first time, if you log into the AWS account, I recommend you kindly create a budget alert. Budget alert in the sense, here, open this top right, your account name, and if you scroll down, there is something called billing and cost management. If you open this billing and cost management, this is the dashboard where you can see the bills, time to time generated within your account. In the left side, you can see the bills section. This is where you can see the bills from the respective month. So you can see the bills that are generated in the previous month, and you can also see the bills that are generated in the current month. And in the payment sections, you can see what are the bills that you had cleared, any undue payments, or what are the bills that you had completed. Fine. And if you want to make any payments, you can come to payment section and you can make the payments from this payment section. And in the credits, you can observe whether the $100 are provided into your account or not. You can observe here what are the credits that are assigned to your account. You can observe from here. In my case, right, initially I got the $100. Out of the $100, I already consumed $62 to pay the bills because of overusage. As I'm trying to explore more and more services, the AWS had allocated few more credits into my account. Right, so they're the overall credits that are available in my respective account. So if any bills are occurring, the AWS will deduct the money from its available credits. That is one thing. So in your case, for the first time, if you are coming to this AWS account, make sure the $100 are credited into your AWS account. If you are creating the AWS account for the first time, that is one thing. One more best practices is in the same dashboard, there is something called budgets. So come to the budgets, and here I recommend you kindly create a AWS budget alert for your respective account. What do you mean by this AWS budget? Let's say if you are going for a trip, don't you calculate the budget limits, right? You will allocate some budget for your entire trip. Okay. So to keep yourself alert with the bills and to keep yourself within the budget and not to cross the budget, it is best practices to set up this AWS budget alert messages. How to set up this AWS budget? So come to this billing and cost management dashboard. If you scroll down, there is something called budgets. Okay. And here here you need to create a budget. So in this budget, choose a budget type. So there are already few simplified templates for you. Another simplified templates, I'm choosing zero spend budget, right? If you want to choose a monthly cost budget, I'm saying that yes. So every month, if the budget reaches to $5, okay, I can spend not more than $5. If any bills are coming into this AWS account, I'm ready to spend only $5, not more than that. Immediately, this AWS budget will alert you. Okay, if you provide the email address, so what are the email address that you're providing? Immediately, this AWS budget will notify you. If it is reaching 85%, it will alert you saying that, my dear Rahul, your AWS account had crossed, your AWS billing had crossed 85% of what you allocated. Okay, if you're reaching the 100%, let's say if your bills reach to $5, immediately it will send a message to you saying that you are already reaching your limits. So make sure you are within the limits. So likewise, you can create a monthly budget, right? Or you can also use the zero spend budget. What do you mean by zero spend budget? It is completely zero zero. It means whenever you are crossing the $0.01 in your billing session, immediately it will notify you. So it is a viable, it is the best suitable for the AWS free tier accounts. So I recommend you everyone kindly come to this budget and choose a budget type and choose a simplified template. Go to this option, zero spend budget, and provide your email address. So here I'm providing the email address, my active email ID, where I can get the alert messages. So when it's going to notify you, it is going to notify you if it is reaching $0.01 immediately in the billing section, right? Just create this budget. So the budget is created now, right? So likewise, it is the best practices to create your budgets. So once you're crossing the limits, if you're able to reach the limits, immediately it will notify you so that you can take some decisions. If you want, you can take some decisions and you can control your bills. I hope it is clear to everyone. Thank you. The next thing you need to understand is what AWS actually bills for. The AWS will charge you for compute capacity. If you are using any compute resources and if the compute resources are running, if it is in the running state or if you are using any compute capacity, the AWS will charge you for this compute resources. And the AWS will also charge you for the storage resources or storage services. Using the storage services, how much amount of data that you are using, the AWS will charge you for the storage services. And along with this, the AWS will also charge you for the data transfer, right? Let's say this is a customer and trying to access a website which is running in the server, and this server is part of this AWS cloud. Okay, using this compute capacity, we have set up this server, and it is also allocated with some storage. So we have the compute and we have the storage. Now these customers are trying to access the website, and the data from the server is reaching to the customers. See, the data is transferring out. So the data which is going out. So the AWS will also charge for the data which is going out from the respective cloud platform. So it will charge for the compute, it will charge for the storage, and also it is charging for the data transfer out. That is one thing. And one more thing, you have something called API calls. So to understand this API call request, it means, let's say, if you are using the console, or if you're in the AWS CLI method or AWS SDK method, in order to access the resources in your AWS account. So in this process, whether you may use the console, and using the console, you may click on the respective service to get these resources, right? And you may use the AWS CLI dashboard to type the commands in order to access this AWS account resources. Or you can use the AWS SDK programming and you can enter the lines so that the programming may interact with the AWS account. So whatever may be the process, it may be click in the console, or it may be commands in the CLI, or it may be programming line in the SDK. This becoming a API call, right? It will make an API request to this AWS. So it means it is sending a message. It is sending a message to the AWS to perform a certain action, right? To perform the action. Let's say I click on the service called EC2. It means I am telling to the AWS to do the particular action, to perform the particular action, or else I'm using the AWS CLI command. So that command is also a request, a message sending into the AWS to do a particular task with respect to the respective service or the resources. So these API calls themselves are usually free. So not all the API calls are chargeable. Most of them are free of cost. It depends on the services or the resources that which you are using, and depends on the actions that which you are performing, right? I hope it is clear. So here, let's say, as I told you, we can also use the AWS CLI, right? We can also use the AWS CLI option in order to access our AWS account. So this software, this program is trying to interact with the resources in our respective AWS account. It means this program is trying to make a call to this program. Here, these two applications are talking to each other, so it is making a call. So this program, this software is making a API call to access the resources. So that request is also chargeable. AWS is also charging for this respective API calls. So it is one of this example. Fine. So I hope it is clear what AWS charges you. So that is the reason I recommend you kindly create a budget alert. Okay, and allocate your budget. If it is a zero spent, automatically, if your AWS bills are exceeding $0.01, immediately this budget alert will notifies you to your respective email ID. Or else, if you created a budget alert providing a monthly template, and for the monthly I'm ready to spend $4 US. It is the budget that which I have allocated. This is my threshold value. It is also known as threshold value, the value which I have provided. And in the AWS, if the bills are started generating, okay, initially $2, $3, right? It is about to it is about to reach $4. So in this case, the AWS budget alerts immediately it will notify you, saying that, my dear Rahul, your AWS bills are about to reach the $4 US, the value that which you have provided. That is one thing. If it is reaching the $4, again it will notify you, saying that, Rahul, you already reached the 100% as per your allocation. So what I need to do, whether I may stop using the resources or I may take the decision as per not to cross my limits. Okay, that is how it will helping us. If you want to allocate more budget, you can allocate more budget and you can start using. And whenever it is crossing, right, whenever the bills are crossing your budget limit, immediately it will notify you. You can take the decision whether you can stop or you can use the resources as per your requirement, so that you will be within your limits, not to crossing the limits, not to overusing the resources. That is how it is helping us. I hope it is clear to everyone. Thank you.